Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. In this video, I'm not really covering anything outside of the Ripple versus SEC case and conflicts of interest when it comes to SEC and government officials. So we're going to tap into Johnny Deaton, library tweets, and digital asset investor and Mr. Intuitive tweet threads that I thought are quite interesting. But quickly looking at CoinGecko here, we're currently sitting at a $1.36 trillion market cap, currently at 1.2% for the day. Coming down here, Bitcoin is sitting at that 30,000 range. We've been ranging, like I said, from it was like 29,000 to 30,000 range has been our range. 2,067 for Ethereum. XRP is sitting at 43 cents, almost 44 cents. So if we come over here to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, as you can see yesterday, we did drop at an 8. We marked an 8. So typically when it comes to us being low, I think this is the lowest we've been in per our history. We've been here before, but typically being under 10, showing signs that we're getting close to our market bottom with this, all that fear and uncertainty that's in the market. So I'm curious to see, how long this plays out. If we're going to have another dip down, or if we're just going to have some sort of reversal and just kind of blast off out of here. Curious to see where the market's going to go in that regard. But jumping into the content here, I wanted to start with this one. So Johnny Deaton's referring to good old Gary here, our SEC chairman, in his regards of conflicts of interest. And he says, when you and senior officials from the SEC like Clayton and Hammond made decisions with other people's money, there were massive conflicts of interest. These conflicts went unchecked, and they negatively affected the financial future of tens of thousands who had worked so hard. And they're talking about us. I mean, I'm a part of the class action lawsuit over, I think, over 67,000 members. And yeah, there's been, tens of thousands of investors out there, just like my family, that, had plans for our investments in XRP in particular, in regards of, riding the trends of the market cycle, just like the rest of the digital assets, under Bitcoin. And that's completely been halted since 2020 with the, the SEC lawsuit, dropping down and kind of suppressing and hindering that development. But coming down here, we're going to take a quick listen into this little segment that he has here.
However, when you seek advice from advisors, like doctors and lawyers, the expectation changes. These professionals serve in a position of trust, and they must meet standards of conduct to ensure they are looking out for your benefit, not their profits. Well, similarly, when we turn to financial professionals for advice, as so many Americans do, there's a need that they look out for us. When you make a decision with other people's money, there's going to be some inherent conflicts. That's a situation as old as antiquity. Left unchecked, these conflicts might affect the quality of the advice that you receive, and in turn, the financial future you have worked so hard to build. They're built.
Isn't that crazy? Because that's literally us as, Ripple and XRP investors. It's like, you've literally hindered that. It's absolutely crazy. And there, Gary Gensler and SEC aren't just going after, obviously there's legit litigation going on clearly with library and SEC, Ripple and SEC, but they're going after lending platforms, exchanges, and so on. They're going after everything crypto. Anything that they can get their hands on, their claws in, that's what they're going to go after, which is going to affect a lot of investors out there. Coming over here, library had put this up. It says 10x, very nice. So you're referring to Gary Gensler's tweet that we were just covering here, right here. The tweet says, when you make decisions with other people's money, there are going to be conflicts of interest. Left unchecked, these conflicts might affect the quality of the advice that you receive, and in turn, the financial future you have worked so hard to build. Johnny Deaton says, I literally can't believe you are tweeting about conflicts of interest. So Gary Gensler got 270 likes, and then look, this is growing too if you come and look at the latest on this right here. Yeah, but at the time, he had 3,144 likes comparison to Gary Gensler's 270. So I wanted to throw that up in there. So coming over here, Johnny Deaton's referring to Chair Clayton here, or former SEC Chair Clayton. He says, Clayton will go down as the most conflicted chairman in SEC history. So keep in mind, if you haven't really been keeping tabs on kind of what's been going on with, the XRP community service and, this whole ETHgate scandal, this Ethereum free pass, everything leading up to, as we know, based on the evidence of, them on audio, them in video, and on documents, we've kind of been piecing together as a community, a timeline and, how all these players are kind of fitting in as, when we're connecting the dots or connecting these puzzles. And when it comes to being the most conflicted chairman, there's been more and more stuff surfacing in regards of this thing. This is a massive cohorted effort to, in a sense, create an Ethereum, obviously an Ethereum free pass, but a monopoly in regards of Ethereum, when it comes to DeFi or a token factory, and kind of have a monopoly when it comes to the space. So yes, I 100% agree. Clayton will go down as the most conflicted chairman in SEC history. Just as Rolling Stone described him, he will also be known as the one who wasted a golden opportunity for innovation. Gary Gensler will go down as the most pro-incumbent anti-retail investor chair in history. Let's take a listen into this really quick.
Whatever it is, I believe in investors. I also believe in investing. You have to have good companies to invest in, and we have tremendous companies in this country. 62 of the world's 100 largest public companies are here in the United States. Incredible engines for growth. We've seen them respond to the pandemic in an incredibly transparent way. That said, if somebody does something wrong, we're going to whack them. But we don't need to paint with a broad brush. We need to paint with a scalpel. If you have a bad executive, they should be out of the business.
Yep. Former chairman right there. Moving on here. I like this thread here by Johnny Dean because it goes perfectly into what we're just talking about. He says, Hester Pierce admitted conflict screening is important and must be managed. SEC officials, including Hester, never discussed specific projects or tokens. After the Hinman speech, the SEC, including Hinman and Clayton, refused to comment on other tokens. It all begs the question. So he continues on. So, just so you know, just so you get a little backstory, that's their statement. Like, they claim that they never speak on any one particular project, but they gave Bitcoin and Ethereum a free pass. Clearly, Hinman speaking on behalf of the SEC, which he claims is his personal opinion, speaking on behalf of the SEC, giving Bitcoin and Ethereum a free pass, claiming not securities. So they're speaking on specific projects. But then when we ask them in the community, and our current chairman Gary Gensler, we ask him, hey, what's the status of Ethereum, or what's the status of this? They say we don't speak on behalf of one in particular project. So coming down here, he says, it all begs the question, why did Hinman highlight ETH and give the free pass? It is literally the only time a senior official at the SEC discussed the security status of a specific token. Considering how rare it is to discuss a project, you would think the speech would have been screened for conflicts. It was not. How do I know? I know that it wasn't screened for conflicts because the most basic elementary conflicts check or analysis would have discovered the massive conflicts of interest in the gross appearance of impropriety. It's so clear it's not even open for debate. Since it was Hinman's speech and he was the one presenting it, the conflict screening would have started with him. The ethics officer or staffer would look at all of his investments and sources of income and ask, quote, is there any connections to Bitcoin or ETH? It would include BTC because Hinman declared both BTC and ETH as not securities. Since Hinman wasn't receiving a peer retirement pension from Simpson Thacher, but was declared a current ongoing profit share partner of the firm, the conflicts analysis would have started there. It would have ended there as well. The ethics officer would have investigated whether there was any connection to BTC or ETH related to Hinman and his law firm. The ethics officer would have inquired whether Hinman or his family members owned BTC or ETH next in his law firm. The ethics officer would have discovered that Simpson Thacher was a member of the EEA, Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, and that would have prevented Hinman from giving the speech. A reasonable and competent conflict screening would not have ended with Hinman. The ethics officer would have also inquired as to whether anyone who participated in the 58 draft or reviewed the speech or made comments wasn't also conflicted. The ethics officer would have screened each person in the chain of participation, deciding whether they or close family members owned BTC or ETH or were invested in companies that were involved in BTC or ETH. For example, Bitcoin mining companies. That check would have discovered additional connections to Simpson Thacher or maybe Perkins Coie or other EEA, Ethereum Enterprise Alliance members. You must remember that criminal conflicts laws aim for and are designed to prevent even the appearance of impropriety. The reason that Hester Pierce, Senator SEC, Heron Lee, Gary Gensler, and the SEC should support an investigation into the conflicts is because when the appearance of impropriety rises to a level that destroys the public's confidence in the agency, actual impropriety has occurred. Great thread, Johnny Deaton. I mean, hitting it on the head with just straight facts. This is crazy. This is crazy that like there hasn't been an investigation underway. I mean, I don't even think there's been talks. I know that Senator Tom Emmer and his colleagues had sent a letter, and they finally got a response. But the response that they got from Chairman Gensler didn't answer any of the questions that they needed answered. So I'm curious to see where this thing's going to go. Obviously, Jason Foster and Empower Oversight are suing them for Freedom of Information Act stuff when it comes to trying to get certain documents and whatnot to kind of push that narrative. And obviously, we have the class action lawsuit with Johnny Deaton, Ripple versus SC is going on. But like, there needs to be a serious investigation into all this crazy scandal stuff, man. This is absolutely crazy. This is happening in the United States in the public eye. It is absolutely crazy. Moving on here, this is Digital Asset Investor. So he's putting up this video here where former chairman Jay Clayton was hit hard by Senator Warren here in regards of his involvement with certain companies, and now his position as SEC, he can't in a sense attack, or I guess he couldn't vote to go after these companies because of his status or his involvement, which is kind of crazy because like she was pushing this agenda, but like where is she at now? With the conflicts of interest and the impropriety that has been surfaced now. He says, I see Gary Gensler's promoting how concerned the SEC is when it comes to conflicts of interest by financial advisors. I wish they held themselves to the same standard. They have heard at least 67,000 XRP investors that I know of with massive conflicts of interest at the SEC. So let's take a listen into this old video here.
You would have to recuse yourself from participating in any enforcement matter involving a former client of yours. That's about half of your term as chair. So based on your personal client disclosures then, for half of your tenure as SEC chair, you would not be able to vote to enforce the law against several big banks, including Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, Barclays, and UBS. Is that right?
Yes, Senator.
Thank you. Those banks have repeatedly violated securities laws in the past few years, but if they violate securities laws again in your first 2 years as SEC chairman, you can't vote to punish them. And I think that's a problem. But it's just the tip of the iceberg. Your recusals would not be limited just to your own former clients. The Ethics Executive Order also requires you to recuse yourself for 2 years from any matter in which your former law firm, Sullivan and Cromwell, represents a party. Now, Sullivan and Cromwell is a leading New York law firm with a very long list of Wall Street clients. So for half of your term as SEC chair, you would not be able to vote to punish any corporation or bank that uses Sullivan and Cromwell as their lawyer. Is that right?
I believe that's a fair summary, Senator. Yes.
Thank you. More potential cases with a deadlock and no enforcement, and that's a problem. And even beyond Sullivan and Cromwell's already.
So long story short, yeah, like where is this pressure at now? Like come at our current chairman right now. Come at, I mean, just bring it. Bring this same energy, because there's been a lot of shady stuff, conflicts of interest and impropriety and stuff that we've been surfacing in the communities. Like, where are you at now? Moving on here, like this video here. This is from Digital Asset Investor. Mike Novogratz is being interviewed right now, and they ask about what he feels about XRP, and Digital Asset Investor says, "You XRP people are a bunch of uneducated investors." So let's take a listen into this.
Can I ask you a question about XRP? This is something that I've been invested in for a long time, and they've obviously had, they are going through some issues. How do you feel about XRP?
Full disclosure, I own some of Ripple equity, and it's been a painful trade because the company's stock trades like dog's breakfast, and they own 55% of the XRPs. And so one of the prices is wrong. right? If you think about XRP at what's it trading, $1.20 times 58 billion, that company should be worth $60 billion just because of the XRP they have on the balance sheet, but it trades at about 3 billion. And so something's way off. So I've never liked the XRP token because you've got one group that owns so much of it. Not let alone you've got the SEC breathing down the necks of the two founders, the CEO, the founder, and the company. And so why is it going up? Crypto communities are like sports fans. Have you ever been to an English football game? Literally, their mouths they make Philadelphia Eagles fans look polite. But there's tribal nature. And, over years, the XRP army has built up a real community of people that really want to believe it. It reminds me a little bit of Trump supporters. So, you could tell them anything, oh, they believe he stole the election.
True.
It's like 9/11, conspiracy theorists. There's a little bit of that in crypto. They just don't want to look at the truth sometimes. And if you're a good enough army, you're bringing new people into the space. When crypto's hot, there's a lot of uneducated investors that feel the energy of this moment and want to participate. Like, I think Bitcoin is a core part of your portfolio. It's got a purpose. It's going to be around for a long period of time. Every institution I know is buying some. It's basically digital gold. Ethereum is most likely the winner of the decentralized supercomputer that powers all these new businesses, all these new ecosystems. But it might not be the winner, right? I also invested in a thing called Definity, which is going to launch in about a week. They want to be participant in that. Solana, like I talked about, Terra, there's all these other ecosystems like Ethereum trying for the same thing.
We start to really see this thing.
Oh, no, it's going to be much quicker than that. So like this coin I was talking about, Terra, if you're in Korea and you're in a cab, you'll pay for things on the Chai payment system, or you'll go to the grocery store and you use Chai, like you might use Apple Pay. Mm-hmm. You guys know Apple Pay?
Yeah.
Chai is a crypto payment system, and that it's already 6% of payments in Korea. And so we're starting to jump out of the sandbox into the real world. And I think payments is going to be one of the first places.
UST! 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 All right, guys, now I feel like the BitConnect guys. So... UST! UST! UST!
Yep. That's his tattoo right there. And obviously we know what's happened with, UST being depegged and the Luna just being completely decimated from $120 all the way to nothingness, and their community being completely incinerated is absolutely crazy. Crazy to hear some of the comments he's made right here. This is huge. I'm going to end on this one. This is Mr. Intuitive for Truemers Only. Make sure you show some love here. But he says, Novo forgot to mention those lunatics. So let's listen into this.
Digital asset investor, bringing back the Novo videos. He was calling XRP holders conspiracy theorists, like Trump supporters, like 9/11 conspiracy theorists, like crazy sports fans. But he came short of calling them lunatics. Digital asset investor, bringing...
Straight up. That kind of hyped me up a little bit. But yeah, no, it's absolutely crazy, man. We've been called conspiracy theorists, unfounded speculation, and obviously you hear Mike Novogratz talk, and it's just crazy, man. We're just everyday people that, fell in love with a project because of their use case or utility, the community. We kind of see where the future is headed. We're doing the best we possibly can in regards of our research and trying to make the best judgment for our family. And it's crazy that, we're kind of being frowned upon about that when we're invested in a project that's followed by a company that is trying to really solve a real world problem that's massive. Absolutely crazy. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.